29 minutes. Matthew McGill.
Doug hates burps.
We should leave it on.
Yeah.
Well, he'll never watch the
He
show.
hates burps.
Doug will never
No, he
watch
will
that.
totally
Watch
watch
it?
every
If
minute.
he's
of
not
this.
on it, he
Are you
won't.
kidding me?
The first 4
Hey,
minutes.
hey,
Watch the whole thing.
save it for the show.
The show's already
1,
started.
2, 3. Hey! Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Download Youth Ministry web show. You might notice something different if you are a regular. My name is Josh. This is Katie. That's Matt. And in the middle, our guest of honor, Doug Fields. Doug is here.
Hola.
Doug is away this month.
But you're as old as Doug, right? Are you guys both old together?
Wow.
How old are you?
You aged way more gracefully. This is
Oh,
Jason
yeah.
Carson.
Jason, how old are you?
I'm 40.
Oh.
A solid 4-0.
Dude, I'm older than you are.
Podcast regulars will know Jason. He is one of us. He is a youth worker. He's been in the
Thank you,
Trenches
Josh.
Youth Ministry. Been with the band the Supertones for a long time, which is awesome. And now, kind of some big news. Can we talk about it on the show?
We can talk about it.
You are going to be. Tell us more. Go ahead.
I'm going into an AA program. No, sorry.
Fine.
Okay.
Whoa.
No, that was just...
He's 11 days sober. We're thrilled.
Some things you don't joke.
It's
Let's
9.
let's minimize people's journeys right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
seriously.
Yes, I am going to be planning a church
That's
coming
awesome.
next year in March.
So you're not sober, is what you're saying.
Right.
You are insane.
Gracious.
Wow.
That's exciting. What's the name
That
of your
is
church?
beautiful.
Encounter Church. And it's going to be in Mission Viejo, California.
Give
I'm
us
very
the
excited.
gist. There's a million
Yeah.
churches even here in California. So why is this one different? Why are you starting it?
Why
Tell
does
us
it
about
have to
your-
be different? That is, I can't
Okay, tell us how it's
Yeah.
more of the same
But
and
it
like
can
everything
be.
else.
Yeah.
That everything's already going to.
No, God's had me on an amazing journey. I just couldn't be more excited. Like the last couple years have been tough and confusing and wondering, God, where do you have me? What do you have next for me? And then out of nowhere, that my old pastor said a great quote, God never moves quickly, just all of a sudden. And that's how it happens, like just out of nowhere.
I don't
It's
get
like,
what that means.
well,
Doesn't
you
move
got to think about
quickly,
it.
he moves all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Isn't quickly and all of a sudden
So
the
you
same
know how
thing?
you're always
The
like, hurry up,
synonyms?
God, give me an
They
answer,
are?
give me an answer, give me an answer. And then,
Okay.
and then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I see what you're doing. God.
So after
In the
waiting
moment, it's
patiently,
like an all of a sudden.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. And
good.
so after a couple
I'll have to
years
look that
of...
up.
Well, after 2 years of
sounds
waiting,
like a
Yeah,
clever
God
phrase.
all of a
That's
sudden,
true.
out of
Yeah.
nowhere, God called me to plant a church. in
when I heard
Montreal,
it,
and-
I went, that'll preach.
That's
That'll
great.
preach. That'll
There
work.
you go.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah, that's good. So,
Jason, we love you. You have been
Thanks.
on the show
Thanks.
before, and it's great to have you back again. As a senior pastor, church
Totally.
planner.
Are you working with any organizations or anything?
no, it's independent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Way to
Are you
go.
looking for a youth pastor?
Absolutely,
Like, what?
eventually.
I know, totally.
Yeah.
Will that be like the first hire you make?
It's not stopping.
That's right.
My hand is just going straight up.
No, I mean, out of the gate, with church planning, I
Yeah.
don't know if you can hire anyone,
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
let alone pay yourself.
Totally, yeah.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, we got most of the core team that's starting. I mean, we're all youth ministry
Yeah.
veterans, and so
That's
we have
so
a huge
great.
heart
Well,
for
and
youth
to
ministry.
celebrate the launch of your church, you're growing a new beard, it looks like, which is cool.
Yeah, I guess.
Are you trying to
My-
be more senior pastor?
Yeah, there you go.
I'm
Good
not.
question.
Senior pastoral?
To be honest, I hate facial hair for myself. I
Sure.
don't like the
You
feel.
do?
It looks
I do.
quite fat.
It
And
does.
then
Little Obi-Wan
my
there.
wife has been begging me to grow
Oh.
a beard.
Wow.
That's nice of
Well,
you.
And you guys know when your wife asks you to do something.
That's right.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What
like
is-
the
What do you
dishes.
do?
Then what do you do?
Yeah.
You're like,
Katie, tell us, what does that mean?
Translate. Well, this is the Download Youth Ministry web
British
show.
guys.
We have several sponsors we're thankful for. We're sponsored primarily by Encounter Church in Mission.
Hey!
I think we're sponsoring that.
We're thankful for Youth Specialties. We're actually doing a live show in Sacramento next
I know,
week.
in a week.
And then in Atlanta in a couple months, so that'll be so fun. So thank you to YS. We love them. Great resources, amazing events. So thank you to them for sponsoring the show. As well as our other sponsors, Youth Ministry 360, great resources, great tools, help you grow, and your students help you follow up with students who recently became followers of Jesus as well. Azusa Pacific University, great education for what?
Well, you laughed, right?
really
With-
sad.
Well, I was just
Right now.
thinking maybe the alumni should say something about
Well,
it. But
get a word in edgewise.
well, I'm trying to get
right.
to the show. All right.
That's right.
And
And
leader trucks.
leader treks as well. Great
Yeah.
mission trips, leader tools, and they
Genius
actually
resources.
Yeah, they're amazing. Doug
Yeah.
Franklin and the team there do really good stuff. Here's the first question. Here we go.
Oh.
You ready?
Job. Way to go.
We're
to go, Josh.
gonna answer some questions on the
Way
show.
to go.
Bam.
What are
There we
these
go.
little cards that are on here, by the way?
Those are exclusive DYM member cards. They're black cards.
They're very nice, very fancy.
What do they do?
Wow.
What do they do?
Absolutely
Everything.
nothing.
And you know what they do? They move kind of slowly, and then
Suddenly, all of a sudden.
You missed the quote. You totally botched it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
God
You know,
never moves the
listen.
subject.
Little off script. It doesn't have to be right now, but at some point I got to talk about Katie Edwards.
Oh.
When's that going to be? Is that after a few
Let's
questions?
do a couple questions. We'll do it.
No, Katie, I have to. Katie, I'm telling you, I said when I came in today, I'm going to talk about Katie
Oh,
Edwards.
wow.
Oh, that's good.
That sounds
So-
excellent.
We
No,
could
I
do a
have
whole
to.
show
I
devoted
have
to Katie
to.
Edwards.
Really quick, before
I
we
feel
begin,
compelled.
we might need to tell Fadi, we're doing a show over here. I don't know if you
yeah.
knew that.
Hey, Cody.
It's Doug Field's.
We're here. We're doing a show. I don't know if you guys saw that.
It's recording right now.
Here we go.
We need to start this thing over.
Please don't use my name or location. If you'd like
Location.
one, use
Mission
my name,
Viejo,
Kevin.
California.
My name is Kevin from Atlas, Oklahoma.
Hey, Kevin.
That's real.
I
That's real.
appreciate that
So
you gave
he's
us an alias.
A
Don't-
I
pseudonym.
think that's nice.
All right, here's the question. Should I start looking for a new job?
Yes.
Yes.
What? All right. Here's the situation. I'm a
always
full-time
do.
minister of children and youth in a church of a couple hundred. We've been losing money steadily the past 2 years. I found out recently that our account is almost at zero. We can't pay our bills on time. The pastor's been very reluctant to say anything. Hasn't even wanted to tell the church. I asked if there's a plan moving forward. There isn't one. We've already made a bunch of cuts. This is a very recent question, so this would be a timely answer for them even now. Our staff is me, the senior pastor, and associate pastor. I feel like I'm going to be the first to go anyhow, being low man on the totem pole. I have 5 kids. We have this one income. What do we do? Should I start looking for a job? What do I do? Wow. Okay.
Wow, that's overwhelming.
That is.
Yeah, you need to start looking for sure. I mean, there's no harm in doing that. That's just wise, taking care of your family and being prepared and
Yeah.
wanting to provide. If you see the writing on the wall, I mean, the church I'm at, last November, the elders, they had a real serious meeting with the senior pastor, obviously, and I mean, they were on a steep and serious decline for a really long time. And
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that you look at that and you don't want to see that happen,
Right.
and you want to take steps to turn the church around, but you also need to you need to start looking and look at other opportunities.
Yeah. Do you guys agree with that? Is there anything else
I think there's
they can
times
do?
where, in ministry as youth pastors or pastors, there's times where you feel guilty for thinking about the money side or
Yeah,
the financial
right.
side. You think, I'm not doing this for the money, but at the same time, there's an earthly side where you are responsible for your family and caring for
Absolutely.
them. And so
Yeah.
I think you can look for a job guilt-free as far as obviously love the church and believe in the church as long as you feel called there. But at the same time, if you see yourself in ministry long term, it's okay to look for a job because you're looking for a job.
That's
Yeah.
good stewardship.
Yeah, that's not
I mean,
that's not a
it's
bad that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So
I wonder too if there's any wisdom in just saying we don't know the full story, but could you
Right.
say, is there anything we can do for the solution?
Yeah.
So it sounded a little, maybe I could be wrong here, but did he kind of say that the guy's not even telling the congregation
Yeah.
or not willing to work? I mean,
Yeah.
see, for me, it'd be like, I hope he's letting the congregation know this is where we're at. We need people to step up and giving, or if you don't ask, there's
Yeah.
problems. So could that be something, or
Sure.
could he be a catalyst of raising funds or a way to
Totally.
make
Yes.
awareness? I don't know.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a great thought. I
No.
think the leadership piece for him.
I feel the same way. Obviously, start looking. I think it's almost an obvious answer. Of course, yes, for sure. At the same time, stay all in until the money dries up or you're called away, and see what you can do about the problem. Is there anything
Yeah.
that you can do? Could you, there's not even a draft of a plan, it sounds like. So what would it look like if you said, holy smokes, we've got 3 weeks until we're done. So
It's hard to be all in and look at the same time.
For sure.
I mean, it's
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously God's going to be doing something in your life, in your family's life at this time, and you don't want to
Yeah.
miss out on that. I mean, there's going to be some cool stuff that happens through the transition that you'll learn about yourself, that you'll learn about ministry, that you'll learn about
But there is
leadership.
a mental shift.
But it's
once
hard.
you start to kind
Yeah.
of walk down that
you
road.
wish that wasn't true.
Yeah,
but it totally
but there
is.
Yeah.
just is. So yeah, that is
So-
a tough.
But this situation, I mean, my church was not in the exact same situation as this, but very, very similar. And so, in order for me to stick around there longer, last February or something like that, I went part-time, and I just knew that my salary wouldn't get cut or whatever if I cut it myself. Unfortunately, we were able to do that and make that happen.
Yeah, so maybe offer some sacrifice.
But if you can, I mean, it's a tough a tough
We don't know all the
thing.
variables.
Well, 5 kids, I know that variable.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a tough one.
You only
And
have
being the
4,
only
Josh.
income.
I mean, Matt has 5.
Yeah,
I'm the
I've
only
got 5
income with
kids.
4. I mean, if you cut that in half, it changes everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. We need to start like a DYM job board or something.
I agree.
You
It'd be a
know.
good idea.
Yeah.
Kevin in Atlas, Oklahoma.
Yes.
Not your real name. Would be that would be helpful for him. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah. Good.
Well,
Tough-
let us
tough
know how it
stuff.
goes. I
So
think
tough.
part of it is too the community of this. It'd be interesting to hear how Kevin how it goes.
Yeah.
And does Kevin have mentors and people speaking into his life that
Yeah, that's
know the
good.
situation, that can advise him with godly counsel? That's good too.
I think part of it is right here. He's going
Well,
help
I-
us out. So I don't know if I would agree that he does.
But it's tough though. Who do you talk to
Yeah,
when
that's
it's your
true.
church
I
and
mean,
your
that is
community?
hard.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like you don't want to be spreading news about the church.
Well, and you're carrying a secret. You know that the church is
Yes.
bankrupt. That is
Yeah.
heavy to carry.
That's the hardest thing I think in ministry when you know stuff that other people should know, but you can't say any. Like
not your place.
That is like
It's
such
not your
a
place.
Yeah, I
weird.
just tell them that's my solution.
But if you don't we all agree though that having pastor friends is one of the greatest things you
Yeah.
can have,
Oh,
so you
great.
can confide in
sure.
stuff going on at your church with
Find
another.
a safe person
Yeah.
to talk to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you got
Very
it.
true. Very true. Here we go. Hey, gang. DYM member here. Doug,
Nice.
Matt, Katie, and Josh.
What is a DYM member
And
again?
Jason.
I don't know what that
Why don't
means.
you say what it means?
That's right. That's right.
Is it
You.
this?
This is part of it. This is part
The
of
black
it.
card.
This is for the
Legacy
people who
member.
began the membership the very first month. But
Swipe
we
it.
have a membership. It's $20 a month. You get 8 different things. One of them's free texting. You can't
Can
use
you
it as a
swipe
credit
this
card.
somewhere?
The only place you could swipe this is in somebody's just right underneath their eye. If you wanted to give them a little.
If you want to,
that's
like,
right.
free LASIK.
So perfect.
There you go. So,
exciting.
this person is a DYM member. Thank you for
right.
all you do to help support youth ministry nationwide. Hopefully, I'll bump into you at the National Youth Workers Convention in Atlanta. That'll be fun.
Atlanta.
See you there. Is that how they talk?
Is that was a very good way to go.
I think
liked
I
it.
was better than you, but I mean,
Really?
whatever.
Do you want to have a little southern talk, like accent off right now?
No.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Give Katie a break, y'all.
Put some shrimp on the barbie.
Worse.
Southern California.
Yeah, also I feel better about my
Worse.
accent. We're fine. We're fine
We're
now.
fine.
Here we go.
Great.
I've been in youth ministry for over 5 years, but just signed up for Josh and Katie's pre-conference option. Oh, I didn't realize it was continuing. So we'll be teaching first 2 years in youth ministry in Atlanta. See you there. All right. Here's a
Exciting.
question. School has resumed in my area, which
One person is coming.
I know. Yes.
That's so
We won't be
great.
alone again.
Here.
School has just resumed in my area, which brought to my mind what are some practical campus ministries that have been successful in your ministries. Thanks again for all you do. So around here, we also just kind of are in back to school mode, and a big football game this weekend. Our 2 big high schools go to our church together. They're playing against each other this weekend. Some of the homecomings are started. So what are some of the best practices for campus ministry in your church, in your area? Ready, go.
Go. Did
Jason,
you guys do a lot of?
Yeah, I was going to
campus
say, what do
ministry?
you guys do?
Well, we did some campus ministry. I wouldn't say we did a ton, but
Yeah,
the idea of going and being with the kids at the football games, doing barbecues in the parking lot, the idea of getting your students involved on the campuses and having leadership, even some of your small group leaders going to the campuses and leading their Bible studies. You guys are familiar around here with Cookies for Christ. They had at some of the local high schools, they have a ministry called Cookies for Christ. I'm not crazy about the name, but
Yeah.
the kids seem to like it.
I love both those things. I love cookies and I love Jesus.
Yeah, there you go.
Got it. I think it's
And
brilliant.
so, I mean,
Which
they
do
just
you love more?
they would bring cookies every week, right? And
Right.
sit around. So it's cool though. And now some of these high schools are starting to do stuff together, working together,
Yeah.
and just reaching people. And I think that's awesome. So I mean, when you see kids doing the movement and you can pour into them and help them and get behind them, that's one of my favorite ways to do it.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool.
Yeah, we've done kind of the similar things. We've done some big tailgate parties. Last year, we brought
So
in
fun.
Little Caesars Pizza, a.k.a. the greatest gift to youth ministry ever. And we had
With
just
the new pretzel
stacks.
crust?
Yes. Stacks and stacks of pizza. And it was just free. It was open to anybody who wanted to show up. Bring a friend. We had some tailgate type of games and stuff. And had a blast. So Honestly, though, we don't do, at least currently, a ton of on-campus ministry stuff. We support FCA. We'll put an announcement slide up so students would see that. We would talk about maybe a canned food drive or something, try to build some synergy there. But I'm not on campus very often in our
tough
culture.
Here in our area,
California,
it's really tough. California, here and even in our community, we aren't allowed on campus. Like, even to become a volunteer is it's just a tough process to go through.
Just having a
cold we definitely have to get creative. I think too, just going to support students like in your small group or something like that. So, when students are in a play, it's amazing how many students you'll see and parents at a play or a sporting event or, bless their hearts, a 7th grade band concert or, things like that where the school is out. Yeah. It's also a great time to rub shoulders. I mean, that's a lot of times when you could meet a principal or somebody at some of those school events. So great time just to build relationships and hang out. And be on campus in kind of an extracurricular way, which is what we're a little bit more limited to and have to kind of get creative with. But I love the student leadership piece. I think you guys have done a really great job of mobilizing some student leaders per campus. In middle school, it's a little bit different because that's kind of just coming on the scene. So, we're trying to be creative there. But, So I think that's cool, too, mobilizing students in ways to encourage and love. And
definitely.
That kind of thing.
I think you want to, campus ministry is definitely, it's different in our part of the woods than it is in other necks of the woods. I mean, just because it is so hard to get on campus.
It's something I'm jealous of people like in the South, like that can just
you could
have
just show
lunch
up,
on
bring
campus.
a ton of hamburgers or tacos, and just.
I did that in Michigan my first 8 years. I'd bring a pizza and fill a table and laugh and play and talk. And
right.
No big deal.
And so what we did at my last youth ministry is a couple of the guys. Actually, McBee was part of this, but they would go to a pizza place right next to the school, buy pizza for everybody, so they weren't on campus, but it was real close.
That's cool. That's a great idea.
And that worked because some of the kids could come off campus. But to me, don't try and copy something that somebody else is doing. Like, I love this question. This is a great question. Hey, what are you doing that's working so you can learn from it? I mean, it's great to learn from other things, but I think you want to be careful in just copying something that somebody else is doing. And I think that in your questions and as you're thinking and planning, you want to ask yourself, okay, what do I want to accomplish? Like, what do I want to do? What do I, just to have a campus something, like, what do you want that to be? I mean, I would have students come and say, I want to teach a Bible study at, on my campus at lunch. And it was like, okay, I will spend 1,000 hours and help you do that, but you've got 45 minutes. It's going to be really tough. It's going to be why not go serve in the junior high on Wednesday nights where they've already got small groups in somebody else's home. Not that I was against them doing that. I mean, I'm not. We could make jokes about me being the joy stealer and just crushing somebody's dreams.
We were all thinking,
and they were all. But I mean, just. You don't want to just do activity. You don't want to just do events. You don't want to just copy something else. That's something you want to be intentional with what you're doing and go after it.
Yeah,
I love the idea of pulling students together from each of the campuses and just talking about what does your campus care about? What are the needs? Just pulling your students together and just hearing them talk about their school and their friends and things like that. I think sometimes are a great way to spark ideas. Yeah,
we've had students, and I know you guys had too, that have run, like clothes drives or shoe drives or canned food. Where they take something themselves and go, "Hey, this is what I want to do," and it's like, "Great, let me help you. Let me."
Yeah, love it. Very good. All right, we're going to take a quick Katie break. Jason, what are you doing?
Do you have good things or bad things to say about Katie?
Amazing.
Is this a confrontation?
Oh, amazing.
This is amazing things.
This is not a ridicule.
This was going to be a Kate-frontation.
I made a vow. Here's the deal. I made a vow. I got the honor of speaking at the junior high camp, summer camp with Katie Edwards.
Yeah.
She had 400 junior hires there, and I was asked to speak. It was a couple months ago or whatever it was. And I said, if I ever come back to this podcast, I've got to brag on it.
I got to brag on it.
So I made a covenant with myself Not really with the Lord.
Wow,
But,
this is serious.
Yeah.
Covenant
I said
business.
when I come, I've got to brag on Katie. She is
This covenant came
one of the best
slowly
junior
and
high
quickly.
leaders I've
Just
ever seen in the whole
suddenly.
country. I'm telling you, guys, excuse me. I'm trying to encourage you,
Yeah,
Katie.
sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just, we were just celebrating how God moves.
Yeah.
Just seemed like took forever, but then all of a sudden,
There you go.
You still
Yeah.
botched the quote.
I'm trying.
So Katie is phenomenal. She's one of the best leaders in the country in junior high
Agreed.
ministry. I'm telling you, the way she takes
Let's
care of her
just say
leaders.
youth ministry, because it's true.
Yeah, okay.
Junior high,
Junior.
nah.
And I'm telling you,
with
the
that.
way she takes care of her leaders, the way she pours into them and gives them vision. She had a morning brief every day in the what was that malt shop called? The malt
The malt
shop.
shop.
And it was
Malt
incredible.
place.
You spoke encouragement, you spoke wisdom, you like just guided them towards all the right things, and then I saw it happening. I saw 100 of these leaders just spreading out like
Yeah.
wildfire, doing exactly what Katie encouraged them to do,
Awesome.
guided them to do. She was building. I mean,
Thank you.
sister, phenomenal,
Yep.
Thank
phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
You've seen her. You went the year before.
Here's the thing. Went the year before, and then my son got to A, hear you speak at junior high camp,
You were the
and then
best.
B, is under your leadership every week and
Man.
guidance. It's a 1-2 punch. If I could get Matt involved in my son's life, he might be a Christian someday.
No,
Thrilled.
bravo
Everything you
to
said is
Katie.
true. I
And
agree.
so
Thank you.
I've been a little out of the game, but she has trained me through conferences. If you ever get to go hear her speak, like
Atlanta,
so
Atlanta, yeah.
Atlanta
Kevin
person.
Atlanta's going to be there.
Okay, go hear her speak and learn from her. And she's got a couple books.
Yeah.
Thank
There you
you.
go.
And more on the way.
And more on
she's
the way.
gonna-
away.
She's
You
gonna
gotta-
start
you
her
gotta
own
learn from the
podcast.
wisdom.
It
I'm
should
not
just be
important.
called the Katie Podcast.
I
So
like
that's
it.
all, Katie. Sorry to
Thank
embarrass you, but you know
No,
what?
That means a lot. Thank you.
And my wife never lets me brag on her, and so I'm going to brag on
bet.
Katie because she can't get mad at me.
That's right.
There you
Well,
go.
there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys
Okay.
are
Okay, Katie break. Katie break is over. Check it off. Here we go.
Check it off.
All right, this question came in
You're great, Katie. You're
via
great. You're
Twitter.
great.
If you'd like to follow us, it's DYM Web Show. Here is the question from Josh Pocock. He says,
What in the world?
I know, I was going to try to motor through it. I was trying.
Wait a
I
minute.
don't
I'm
understand.
talking about,
Keep
do we
going.
have two different Twitters?
We have at Download Youth Ministry,
This
Right.
is
or at Download YM,
Yep.
and we have at DYM Web Show.
That seems ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
Who's in charge of our social media?
I don't know, but they're doing a great job. Because we got a question.
We do.
We have
Okay.
a couple thousand followers.
Okay. Is this a do not read the name again? What
No,
is
it's from
going
Josh Pocock
Oh,
from
okay.
from at DYM Web Show.
on? Web show. This is the tweet.
Maybe it's
Great.
Pocock or Poo. I don't know. I don't know what it is,
I
but
think just ask the question.
Here
What
it
are you
is.
thinking?
Here it
That's
is.
right.
from Josh.
From Josh. Podcast question. What's
We're ready.
I'm trying.
It's wrong with you.
What does relationship between your youth group and the landing look like? We are in process of launching the landing.
Okay,
All right.
so what is the
Why don't you
landing?
give some-
What is a landing? Yes. The landing is Celebrate Recovery for
What
students.
is Celebrate
What is
Recovery?
Celebrate Recovery, you ask? Celebrate Recovery started at Saddleback Church. It is a 12-step recovery program for people in all sorts of different hang-ups, addictions, all that stuff.
Habits,
So-
hurts, and hang-ups.
That's right. The landing is the student version of the curriculum. It's, I would guess, a couple years old, I would say. And
6, I think.
what does our relationship between our youth group and the landing look like? And that's a good question. In the old days, Matt, you would have had a
Whoa.
recovery program.
Back in the day.
Whoa. Yeah, no,
No.
this came after Fields and I.
Yeah, this is much
Yeah.
later, but you would have had Life Hurts God Heals with Megan Hutchinson and Doug, etc.
Yeah,
Which I
we
think a
had
lot of
one.
people
We
would
had one
recognize
small group.
Yeah.
Like the Celebrate Recovery thing was going on, obviously for the adults,
Mm-hmm.
and we had one small group. Oh, I can't remember her name. No, it was before Megan Hutchinson.
Yeah, I don't know.
She was a great volunteer, though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we just really had one small group.
Tammy
Really, that
Wright?
was.
No.
What's that?
Tammy, right?
She did mentoring.
Oh, mentoring. Sorry.
But anyhow.
Side note. Sorry.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, I sidetracked your question.
Good.
Sorry
So
about
Life Hurts God Heals would be probably fit, or any type of like support group, anything to try to help kids that are hurting, struggling, and kind of in a mess right
Yeah.
now. So to answer the specific question for Josh, I would say we're still trying to figure that out. And the relationship has been somewhat disconnected to the point where our Celebrate Recovery ministry runs the landing.
Right.
And so we have youth group and student ministry stuff over here, and then the landing is kind of
Right.
separate. So for a long time, we kind of pushed students that way and encouraged students to
Right.
go on Friday night to this small group. More recently, I think they've had some launch pains, and it hasn't gone super well. So
Is there a new person on staff running it?
they're not. It's volunteer, run.
See, and that's kind of the difficulty is that if and Saddleback being such a mammoth church that you guys are, I mean, you have the high school ministry, which is focused on its own stuff, and Celebrate Recovery, which, the guy who created it is running that ministry. And
Right.
so I bet, I mean, there's more friction in that environment than there would be. I mean, if you can own the whole thing, like when we got to own the whole
Right.
thing, it was not very difficult.
Well, and that would be exactly what I would say to Josh.
Yeah.
I would say if you're going to have the Landing, Life First God Heals, or insert name of curriculum program here, I would say it's got to be under the umbrella of student ministry. It's got to be part of your youth group.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to be at it or run it or show up at every event, but I think it needs to be under your leadership and responsibility and your belief. Like the Landing is for me, I'm just speaking for myself.
speak for
The
us.
Landing is kind of out here and I'm doing this.
Right.
And so I just it's kind of out of sight, out of mind.
And the same would be true for the people that are overseeing the Landing. So Celebrate Recovery
Correct.
is only thinking about Celebrate Recovery. So it's tough not to have, we don't have a partnership or a liaison between us. Even if we had somebody who was just even the go-between who loved students deeply and loved Celebrate Recovery deeply, it would probably be a different
It would be
relationship.
wonderful.
That
Yeah.
person doesn't exist for us, so it's just tough.
Yeah. And we don't, I mean, I would say we do a lot of things right, and this is something that we have not figured out. We have
Yeah.
not cracked the code on
We've
it.
been
So
trying to figure it out for the last couple of
we
years.
haven't, yeah. So,
So
I mean,
if you have let's say this, if you have a kid that's struggling with addiction issues, and do you send them to a small group or do you send them to the Landing?
It's like case by case.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So we're taking kids in case by case and doing pastoral care as things
As a youth
arise
group, as a
versus
small group.
go to this program. It's just probably we're doing more individual care.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in my setting, much smaller youth group, I'd say, and maybe mine is bigger than some too. Obviously, 100 kids.
Yeah.
I would always train my leaders
huge.
on how to deal with their students in these situations, and if it was bad enough, of course, it would come to me. But if anything, within confidence. So you do leadership training, and you train them how to just listen and be there for them, and gently encourage them and guide them, and I mean. Yeah, but
well, and I would say with the lack of a clear recovery type of program for students, we are building way more of that into our leaders. So we're expecting them to handle this, report this if necessary, be involved,
We're doing
counsel,
a lot more crisis counseling.
a lot more, just
You
as
guys
part of our
doing
youth
more
group.
these days?
I think so. I mean, I think the Landing or Celebrate Recovery is definitely that's not the largest number of students either,
Right.
because you're talking about students who
Right.
are already caught in habit. Now, there's definitely a percentage of kids that are caught in habit and addiction as early as junior high.
Sure.
So, that would be the benefit to us, because the category of crisis for teenagers is so broad,
Right.
and so we're doing a ton of crisis care,
All the
crisis
time,
counseling,
yes.
pastoral care. The percentage of kids who really need this to work, we're probably not doing the greatest job with them, because they do need kind of
It's a small percentage.
they need
They need
they need next level.
Yeah, an elevated response of some kind. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's an interesting piece for us.
And there's elements of the Landing that you can have everybody go through.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's
Absolutely.
one of those things that, like, to me, if a visitor comes to the church or a parent comes and I need to get my kid connected, the first thing I'd want to do is I'd want to try and get them into a small group, because that's going to be more of a normal, natural
Yeah, somebody
conversation,
checking in,
life, and stuff like that. And if there needs to be an extra or an intense, or like if your church or it's another hook in the water, like for Saddleback, because Celebrate Recovery is such a big deal.
Yeah, it's
that
awesome.
the Landing is another hook in the water, that a kid will go to Landing before they go to a small group. So that's a cool thing
Yeah.
too.
Definitely.
Yeah. Love it.
But it's a thing where, to me, it's a cool program, it's a cool curriculum, it's well thought through, and it'll teach everybody in your group something. I mean, there's good biblical principles there. But what do your kids need?
Yeah.
For sure.
And bring it under.
If you've got 4 kids that are totally struggling with drugs, then you know what? Find them a leader, get those kids, and
Right.
and
Right.
really and make that happen.
Yeah.
But and what you guys said this in the beginning, so I'm just reiterating, is that you, no matter where that leader is structurally in the church or whatever, you relationally you want them to be connected. You want to be checking in with them. You want to make sure they understand the same values.
Well,
that
we
you're
should have the
leading
same
out of.
heart, right? Wanting the same end result.
Absolutely.
So that's
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, it's a great place to start. Start there and work
Yeah.
back. Here we go.
Good question.
It is a
I'm
good
so
question.
glad we have the 2 Twitter accounts.
From our DYM Web Show Twitter. See you
That's
online.
right.
Yeah.
All right, here it is.
It
Please
is
don't.
confusing. Thank you.
One is for the web
It's
show.
confusing.
Thank you. It's
JJ,
not
you
that.
gotta
I
have
follow
one
both.
Twitter.
I'm not confused.
Do we have that much to say? We need 2 Twitter accounts? Can't you just hit enter twice?
How many
we
people
could.
follow both?
That's right.
I do.
2,700 on DYM
I didn't even
and
know we had a
1,700 on web show.
Really?
Yeah.
So those 1,000 people are missing everything you want to share with them.
That's okay.
Yeah.
They only want the show. I'm going to give them the show.
Okay, good stuff. Sorry,
Here we go.
this is the hot seat.
You know what? Maybe we could have
The
started
social media
Maybe we
hot
could have started that about 2 years ago when we started that account. We could have had this conversation. That would have been really helpful.
Let's just close it down right now.
Okay. Here we go. Please don't read my name.
Do you know how hard it is to get Griff frustrated? It is. It's one of my goals, really, and it is just
Thanks.
so
Thank you.
great. It is
Thank
so
you.
great.
It's working.
Like climbing Mount Everest. I can't climb Mount Everest, but I can frustrate Griff. It's beautiful.
All right, here we
Okay,
go.
sorry.
Here we go. So this is a good question. We're going to spend a little time on this one. Please don't read my name. So I
Jason
guess
Carson.
you could call
Just call
I'm
him
about to
Jason
leave my
Carson.
church and church plant my own.
Oh,
Here it is. Please don't read my name. So I guess you could just call me Justin. Another one that just
Lovely.
gave us the name.
I love the
That's
alias.
great.
Thank you.
I love it.
I've been in full-time
Frank Smith.
youth ministry in the same town for 10 years. I've been in my current church for 6 years, and I love it. I joke with the leadership about going to retire here. Here's my question. How long is it okay to be isolated? I'm single, no family, no friends in the area, super involved in our community, but it's a small town, and if you don't have the friends and people in your preschool, your kids in preschool, you're not in those circles. For 10 years, I keep thinking this would change eventually. Nothing has given. Great youth ministry network that I meet with weekly. Some other weekly lunches with combined activities with other youth groups. I love my ministry, but hate the isolation in my life. What do you do when this is the case? It'd break my heart to leave, and I believe in longevity, but how long do I wait in this personal solitary confinement before it's acceptable to make a move? Now, those are some powerful words. Personal solitary confinement. I've prayed, I've cried to God about this. No clear answer. Am I completely selfish and wrong? I would be leaving an incredible church because I'm tired of not having community. Is this a prophet Jeremiah situation? Do I need to just get over myself and stay put? Thank you. Please do not read my name. Call me Justin. All right.
Justin.
So, Justin,
Well, there's a
how do we
huge
What's the
handle
isolation thing?
There's
A
single?
relationship? Does he?
all the above?
Okay.
It sounds like,
He's
all of the
single.
above.
Everybody
You didn't
even
else
know
in
what his
his life
above was
is
gonna be.
married.
well, it's everything. It's not just isolation in the church. It's
He's
dating
single.
or relationship,
Okay.
singleness.
So everybody around him's probably married with kids.
Yeah,
maybe,
so it's
and-
all work all the time in a great church, but no friends, no spouse, no.
So a small town.
huge.
Small
It's a
town,
huge
yes.
assumption that going somewhere will equate to you getting connected. I mean, that is.
Yeah, that's true. You don't know.
That's a big thing, and situations like this are tough. These are the best situations to have a conversation and to ask questions and to find out more. I mean, there's so much more behind this. It's really tough to speak to it specifically, but one of the phrases you said was, "I keep waiting for things to change,"
Yeah.
and I don't want to make too much of that, but things aren't going to change. The world will not change. It will be the same. You have to do something. You have to take a risk with somebody. You have to. It's very nice to pray about things. Obviously, that's
There's a
It's
t-shirt
very-
quote right
it's
there.
very
Tomatoes,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, you can pray about it.
Yeah.
it's.
I mean,
very
that's not
nice.
going to change
Yeah.
anything. But,
But you can't just. There's nowhere in Scripture you only pray about things. I mean, you have to.
so you're saying, don't wait. Nothing's going to
Yeah,
change. Take some action.
is there something you could do? And I know the response only because, I mean, I'm guessing at the response because we've had lots of conversations with people like this, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely. I'm thinking of someone in our circle right now who's wonderful and awesome and is missing, and serving in a great church and is very fulfilled, but is also deeply unfulfilled.
Right, and would
by
say,
some of those same
and
questions.
they would say, "I have tried everything." Well,
Yes.
you haven't. You haven't. There's something left to try, and the reality is that no matter where you're at in life, contentment will always be an issue. Always. I mean, you're single and you hate single, and then all of a sudden you're married because God moved suddenly, and you still have contentment.
That's a nice
still
little
have
full circle.
contentment.
That could be
I
exactly
mean,
what's happening here in a way, right?
So, I mean, it is tough. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
Jason, speak to this too. What do you got?
Wow, yeah, same thing. I have a couple people in my life that I know just are just wondering how can I shake this funk, and and one of them is so close that you almost feel family, and you're like, gosh, you need to make a move here,
right?
And so I don't know what exactly the real issue is. The isolation. I'm still a little confused on what his Justin's main thing is about the isolation. But if it's the relationship thing, and you're always around marrieds and with kids
and teenagers,
and there's no one else, well, then you better go to a church with a bunch of singles, or you better try online. You better, I'm with Matt a lot. You got to make a move, and that's hard. But sometimes we get in patterns and habits that will keep us so stuck. I mean, you're talking quicksand, you're talking cement blocks around the ankles. You are not going to be in a healthy place to move forward.
Become so high for other
and
people.
You get pickier and pickier and pickier, but then it's like you have to just totally surrender it.
Yeah.
And say, well, okay, let me
stop playing World of Warcraft.
Well,
just
sure, but how do you do that, right? I mean, how do you? That's so easily said. But I'll bet you any one of us four would have something in our life where it's hard for us to just.
And it's so easy to throw out advice of like, just go out, get it,
just change all your patterns and your habits.
It's like married. Great church. Starting your own church, whatever. Great
healthy
church.
marriage.
Decent marriage. But you know what I mean? Like, it's easy to go, well, fix it.
Yeah.
Fix it. But I don't think that's totally fair.
I do love the word risk, because I think risk and faith are are so synonymous with each other. I totally understand longevity and things like that, which you've had longevity.
Yes.
6 years is a great run, and to maybe begin the prayer process of like, okay, maybe I'm just going to start walking down the road of stepping out and taking a risk and having faith that there could be something next. I think, again, that's that mental shift. And once you kind of allow yourself to begin really walking down that road and thinking about it and what would it look like to leave or try somewhere new, or even begin that process, I don't know, maybe you would surprise yourself at God telling you, no, stay put. Right. It's coming your way. Or try something.
I kind of like that. Take some steps of faith, and then if God shuts it down, great. But assume, I mean, all the emotional words that are in this, and there's a lot of things, personal solitary confinement. I've prayed. I have cried to God. Am I completely selfish? Like, there are some really powerful statements in this.
I do not think you're selfish for desiring relationship and community. That is a natural instinct, and we all desire it.
But if you have this narrow path that a person has to walk in order to be your friend, then you are being too selfish.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, but for me, like my, at the core of, part of how I'm wired and whatever is like I don't need to be liked by everybody. Obviously, I make lots of smart aleck comments, right? I don't even need to be right all the time. I mean, I really enjoy being right. I'll argue a lot. But for me, like the thing is, well, why would you say something unless you think you're right? I mean, that's my attitude. Yeah. I realize I'm a jerk. But the thing though for me is like for my friends, for the people that I respect, I feel I have to be understood by them. Like, to me, that's a value. Like, to me, that's friendship. Oh, this guy's my buddy because they really understand me. I mean, that's important for me. Whether that's a weakness or not, or whatever it is, that's just who. That's probably both. A little bit of weakness, a little bit of not. But my thing is, it's my responsibility to be known. So it's my responsibility to tell, to tell, like Fields. I've known Fields for 100 years, since I was a freshman in high school. And he's great at asking questions. I mean, gosh, he did that first conversation I met him. He asked me, tell me about yourself. But it's still incumbent on me to say, hey, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. This is what I'm thinking. This is where I was hurt, or this is what I'm struggling with. See, to me, the McGills, me and my wife and our family, we connect with a lot of people, and we usually connect pretty quickly, but it's because of what we're doing, I think. I mean, it's not because everyone wants to be friends with me, because look, I'm a jerk to be around. But it's my responsibility to say this,
That's a great point.
Well, I would say it's a good time to be asking those questions. You're not running from your first adversity.
Yeah.
6 years in,
That's
it's
great.
not like
10
you're
years
like, oh
in
my
the
goodness,
same community.
10 years in the same community. You're not running from anything. It is what it is. You've had a great run. You've served faithfully. I would say, yeah, it's time.
Time to move?
Time to move.
Oh.
Time to make a move.
I wouldn't go that. That's
I'm
pretty
in.
dogmatic.
I'm reading this. Here's what it is. There could be a miracle.
Your life sucks so bad, it's time to move on. That's what you're saying.
No, what I would say is there's enough emotion and pain and longevity and heart and good ministry and healthiness that I see in here that I would say take some steps out in faith to go.
Yeah.
And
go.
if God
Not
shuts
to
it down,
connect, to go.
she's done that. He's done that. Justin.
Justin.
Justin. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's not Justin.
But
Okay.
moves
But you know
are
what I
not
mean?
necessarily
You think they
moves are not necessarily always linked to something negative or bad. You
No.
know, like saying go or move is not necessarily.
There is a
like,
discomfort here that
run
is
from what's
it's
happening.
feathers
Yeah.
out of the nest,
It
and it's
could
time
just
for
be a
him
step
to
up.
go. It's
Could it be this though? For Justin, maybe this will encourage him. Back to my
Because nothing.
back to my brilliant advice.
Yes.
It doesn't happen quickly.
It doesn't
Just all of a sudden.
suddenly.
Because,
That's right.
Because here's the deal. Like I felt, me and my wife both felt this. Like for quite a while, we didn't have another family with all of our kids and stuff that we felt were our friends that were always there for us. And I didn't have like guy friends that like called me and wondered how I was doing and checked in. And I thought, here I have all these relationships and I don't have someone.
one.
I wonder if Justin's feeling some of that.
That's fair.
And here's the deal. I actually just was asking that question for a year or two. How come I hear about all these families doing life together and all this stuff, and where's my turn? And the Lord, all of a sudden, right?
Quickly.
I got two family friends that we do life together. We go on vacations together, and that was about 4 years ago. I got two at once. Yeah. Went from 0 to 2.
Look at that.
I was like, wow. So I wonder if his answer is right around the corner. I wonder if he keeps on investing and sowing seed. Maybe say, hey, let's have this family. Let me have this couple over. Let me have these friends over. And start talking to them. Maybe he wants an accountability group to go deeper, and no one wants to go deeper.
Right.
The more nets you throw out, the more fish you're going to catch.
Yeah. It's hard. The Bible says each heart knows its own bitterness. No one else can share its joy. There is the height of things that are great and the lows of things that are horrible that people will never connect with you on. I mean, there is a loneliness that only God understands. Yeah.
That was great. That was a great thought.
It's great.
Awesome.
Good job, guys.
Guys, great show.
Was that the last question?
That's it.
Have we been timing? How long have we been going?
It's probably time to be done.
Wow.
It's probably,
How long has this been going?
Hey, Josh, bravo on leading this thing, man.
we did okay. We did okay.
42 minutes. That's
42
perfect.
minutes. That is good. That's solid.
That's the perfect
Doug,
number.
if you're still listening,
That's right.
we miss you, and we'll
Yeah.
see
We
you
have
on the
2
next
Twitters, everybody. Download
Two
Youth
Twitters.
Ministry. Download webshow.
And remember, all of a sudden,
that's not you.
That's not
All of a
even
sudden.
it. That's not even it.
Send your questions to webshow@gmail.com. We will see you next week.
not quickly.
You lost control of this train.
Lord, come quickly. I did such a good job right to the end, and then just right
There, Matt.
right.
Perfect.